The following is a presentation of 4-Star Sports Media. Welcome to the Germantown Village Wine and Liquor Studios. Germantown Village Wine and Liquor. They have single barrel whiskeys you can only find in their store. Go by and see Stephen Plunk and tell him 4-Star sent you. Now, it's time to get to the point with your hosts, Wes Pruitt and Brandon Bumgarner.
We gon' eat every one of you for dinner, man. Get your tickets outside, it's going down tonight. This is our game, just don't quit it, man. It's to do, we ain't come to lose, we here to win. Pay your dues, otherwise I got bad news. What you came to do? Get them boys the blues, 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 get them boys the blues. What you came to do? Get them boys the blues.
Hello, Memphis fans, and welcome to The Point, Tuesday, December the 7th edition. I am Wes Pruitt, Big Bad Bumgunners to my right, Willie B's down there on the bottom. We bring this show to you every week. It is presented to you by Germantown Village Wine and Liquors. Go by and see them today, 7730 Poplar Avenue, or give them a ring, 901-737-3174. Stephen Plunk does an incredible job over there. Go by and see them. They've got some single barrel whiskeys you can only get in their location. They are our sponsor, and you are inside the Germantown Village Wine and Liquor Studio right now. Fellas, how are you?
Doing all right, man. Doing all right. Making it. Best
I could be way better.
Totally understand that. Guys, when you look at it, man, we got an announcement this week. The Tigers now know who we're playing in the bowl game, fellas. And it's a home game for Hawaii. Hawaii's 5-7 on the season, by the way.
6-7.
I'm sorry, 6-7. That's very odd to me. 6-17 making a bowl game just kind of surprises me. But if I'm correct on this, Brandon, and correct me if I'm wrong, they added a bowl game so that Hawaii would play in the Hawaii Bowl?
That's exactly what they did. So it's a 6-win thing for you to be able to be bowl eligible. If you win 6 games, it doesn't matter how many games you play, which the weird thing to me is Hawaii played 13 games up to that point. But there's no reason to have a team with a losing record in a bowl game unless you're there for their APR, which Hawaii's not up there in APR. Other schools are. Memphis is actually second in the country in APR, fun fact. But no, they added an extra bowl game to screw over the University of Memphis and make it a true road game for the University of Memphis on Christmas Eve in Hawaii.
Yeah, I mean it's a literal road game for the Tigers. Now it's a bowl game, so it's a business trip. But I mean, Will, when you look at this, I mean, that's a long way to travel for the Tigers. It's going to be a whole new scenery. There's probably not going to be too many people there. When you look at this bowl game against Hawaii,
I can't imagine that there would be people there. I mean, it's going to be Christmas Eve. You're talking about miles away. I mean, I'm sure there's probably fans there in Hawaii, but I don't know how many of them would go on Christmas Eve to that game. 7 p.m. kickoff on Christmas Eve. That's crazy to me. But they do say that we play host to Hawaii, which I find funny because they are essentially playing a home game. So, I mean, it'll be a fun trip for the kids. I'm sure, the players will probably enjoy going to Hawaii because, I mean, I myself have never been. I'm sure they'll love that. But, I guess if you look at it logistically, it's probably not the best game for fans.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know a few Tiger fans that are going, but that's expensive, man. I mean, flights are like $1,000. I mean, and that's not including once you get there, you got to pay hotel. It's crazy, man. Brandon, when you look at this game, how do you see it playing out? I mean, I feel like we're the better team going into it.
They've lost their starting quarterback, their starting running back, and their top wide receiver to the transfer portal. If we don't win this game, then there's a major problem. I mean, granted, you have guys who do, and unfortunately it happens, but you have guys that treat bowl games as like, oh, cool, this is like a mini vacation, which this isn't a mini vacation. Yes, you get to go to Hawaii. Yes, you get gear and all kinds of other bowl gifts out of it, but it's not – I mean, you're still fighting for a winning season at this point. But honestly, if you lose to Hawaii, Hawaii's not good. So you got a major problem if you do.
Yeah, I completely agree. And that quarterback that they lost, I mean, if I remember correctly, I mean, he had thrown for like 700 yards the past 2 weeks or something. I mean, he was a real threat. Will, what's your thoughts on Hawaii?
Yeah, I mean, anything that I've seen thus far, this year, I'm me away. I don't really know what to expect. I was honestly looking at this when we saw that we were going to the Hawaii Bowl, and I was kind of just trying to pair up teams that I thought we might. I was kind of hoping for like Wyoming or Boise State, but just because they sort of had similar records, or at least records in the same wheelhouse. Hawaii doesn't. They're 6-7, and we're 6-6. But I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't really know a whole lot about the team. I mean, I know in years past, they seem like they're one of those teams. They like to move the ball. They can put up points. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know a whole lot about this team. I'm not to expect.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Hawaii plays in this game every year. Like, I feel like it's just, if you're Hawaii and you make a bowl, you just go to the Hawaii Bowl. You play in the is it the Hula Bowl, and what is their stadium called, Brandon? Do you know?
No clue. Don't even care. Because
it's the TC Ching Athletics Complex.
Oh,
yeah, I've looked at pictures
TC
of it.
Ching Athletics Complex. It actually used to be their practice facility.
Really?
Yeah, it used to be their practice facility. Now they use it for bowl games.
Yeah,
wow.
I looked it up. They have a track around it, and it's like high school bleachers, so it looks like Christian Brothers High School.
Wow, that's crazy. All right. Well, I mean, when it comes to Tiger football,
great place for a college bowl game to be taking place.
Oh yeah, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, when you look at the Tiger football team, I mean, you want to end the season on a high note, as we know. Yeah. Brandon's talked about it numerous times. If you win the bowl game, you automatically go into the next season on a winning streak. And that's huge for this Tiger program. We've talked about it till we're blue in the face, no pun intended. But, you got to keep this momentum going of the bowl streak. We're in the bowl. Now we got to win the bowl. I believe there's a record in there somewhere for Silverfield winning back-to-back bowl games. I think that could be a record for a Tiger coach. He would be the first head coach in Memphis football history to win back-to-back bowl games. I just had to have known that. I mean, I can't think of anybody else. Well, obviously there is nobody else. But thank you to everybody watching right now. Facebook, the Point Facebook page, Facebook, 4-Star Sports Media, 4-Star Sports Media, YouTube, and also everybody watching right now on the website 4star.live. We've got some big things coming up on 4star.live. Go check it out, guys. All of our content is there. All of our incredible articles from Will Bass, Kristen Johnston, and myself are all there. Check it out, man. Great website. Our webmaster is best in the business, man. Super great guy. Guys, let's talk about something that I know we all really want to talk about.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know, but we have to. The Tiger basketball team fell to Ole Miss on the road this past Saturday. The question on the screen is, what happened? Will, I will start with you. What happened, man?
Man, if you if you read any of the stuff that you're seeing come out, whether it be nationally, Seth Davis talking to Penny or whatever it may be, it seems like there's an issue inside the locker room with some of the vets and some of the new guys, which I find I expect them to be the guilty parties in this, especially like Lester, DeAndre Williams. Landers maybe a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, those guys, you would hope that they'll be trying to take under their wing, as Penny said. But yeah, it just doesn't seem to be the case, and it's caused places that just doesn't need to be, especially when you're about to be, basically looking down the barrel of some of your toughest opponents at this point, and number 14 Bama and number 12 UT, in just the next 2 weeks. It doesn't really look great for them. I would hope that they'll pull something, turn things around, pull something, and maybe Penny can get these guys on the same page. I mean, we'll find out real soon, especially coming Friday. Not a team that they need to look past at all, and I could see us getting off of us if we're not careful, just because they're really not playing together. And you can see that really, from that first loss with Iowa State. I mean, we played really well, it seemed, leading up to that. There were some miscues, there were some issues. I think a lot of people probably attributed it to youth, and maybe early on it was really just cohesion and just them not gelling together. But it is obviously become an issue. I mean, it's the first time in a while I can remember us losing 3 games straight, and it doesn't feel good, obviously, especially when I think games that were all winnable. Every one of those games was, and I don't know that I would put all the blame Andre are kind of our glue guys, and they need to be looked at as glue guys. But you look at too, early on in the season, these young guys everybody should have been given roles. They should have been given some sort of structure, or guidelines to follow as far as what they were going to be required to do, what they were going to be expected to do on the court. And I really just think that that's part of the whole, what the rotation is. They get out there and they just get confused. Nobody knows who's out there to lead, because nobody's really taking that role. Nobody's going out there and just, making it their role to lead the team. I think if you wanted to put anybody in that category right now, as much as I would maybe not like to say it, even though he stepped up the last couple of games, Alex Lomax would probably be the one just Penny leans on. A lot of that just might be the fact that he's been getting so many minutes. You got somebody in the game that long, they're going to build up stats. But yeah, it's definitely, it's going the wrong direction, and they're on a slide. They need to get stopped one way or the other. I don't know that this is the stretch it's going to happen, but maybe they can just dominate through conference play, and then get lucky in an at-large bid, win the tournament. But it's going to take some turning around. They got to figure it out real quick, because they got a tough 3-game stretch ahead of them.
Wes, I think you're on mute.
You're on mute, buddy.
Brandon, you were there, man. Give us firsthand knowledge of what you saw take place.
I saw a team with zero chemistry play the game of basketball, and it hurt my heart immensely. And it wasn't for just one game. It was the 3rd straight game that they have done it. There's some serious problems going on in that locker room. And this all falls back on Penny Hardaway's shoulders. Don't get me wrong, we all love Penny. And I'm sure many of you saw my post on Saturday, and you're like, oh, well, Brandon's just being emotional because they lost a close game to Ole Miss. No, I'm absolutely serious. And maybe I'll take a step back from what I was trying to say. But it's time to shit or get off the pot for Penny Hardaway. If you can't turn this around this year and at least make the NCAA tournament, it might be better just to mutually agree to part ways after this season. You've had ample time to get this team prepared to make an NCAA tournament run. You've had 4 years to do so. Yes, granted, your second year, COVID struck. There wasn't an NCAA tournament. So I can understand that argument. But they weren't going to make the tournament that year unless they won the conference tournament. So it's really tough. And Penny is like our native son. You know, he loves his city. He loves everybody that's from here. And I still support the guy. Like, do not take anything off of what I'm saying. I support Penny Hardaway. I'm going to be at every game supporting him, screaming for my Tigers. But at some point, he has to take action for what's going on as well, rather than just throwing it right on the players. And he has to an extent, but he's also just buried every guy in the locker room. And as a head coach, you can't do that. Also, you have the greatest coach in possibly coaching history on your bench, and you're not going to him for advice. You're saying, oh, I want to do it this way. And that way that you're doing it is not the right way. Don't get me wrong. I've never played in the NBA. I never played college basketball, but I'm pretty sure being a head coach involves listening to other people around you. So Penny's got to take some initiative and put it on himself as well. You can't just go in there and say, well, there's division in the locker room. I don't know how to fix it. You need to go in there, be assertive, be an asshole to these kids and say, look, we're going to do this my way, not your way, and I'm going to play the game of basketball the right way. We're not going to turn the ball over. We're not going to be throwing stupid alley-oops that aren't necessary. We're going to limit the rotation to 8 or 9 guys. We're going to take minutes away from the guys that don't want to be on the floor and give them to the minutes the guys that want to be on the floor and actually try as hard as they can. And unfortunately, there's not many of those guys right now. Now, there are some excuses that can be made. I think the expectation on Amani Bates and Jaylen Durham this year was astronomical. So high for them to even meet. And I'm not saying they can't meet it at some point this season, but Amani Bates is technically supposed to be a junior in high school, and Jaylen Duren's supposed to be a senior. So there's you can give these guys some leeway, but we've seen them both perform at the level that they need to perform at this stage. That it's give and take at that point. But then you look at your upperclassmen, your seniors. The only senior who's doing anything is Tyler Harris, and your other 4-year Letterman point guard turns the ball over 3 times a game, and he had 4 against Ole Miss and 6 against Iowa State. He had 10 turnovers in 2 games. Plus, I think he had 2 against Georgia, so he had 12 in 3 games. Guys, it's just so frustrating to watch this team play the way they are. You know, I was upset about how they started 3-0 and then just fell apart, but they ended up getting it back. I fear Penny's not going to be able to get this back. And because he's not listening to the people around him. And 2, you might have lost the locker room at this point. Go listen to Joshua Minot's post-game press conference after the Ole Miss game and tell me how pissed off he was. He's pretty pissed.
He was pissed.
Yeah, I mean, he's a freshman, and he's talking like he's the like when you have a major problem if the media is asking a freshman 18-year-old or 19, I don't know how old Minot is, hey, what do you think the problem is? And he says, that's not for me to answer. Ask the head coach. There's a problem right there. Part of your other problem is Landers Nolly gets on the floor and he tries to jack up anything he can if he can get open. Like, I get it. Like, you have an open shot, but sometimes taking that extra pass is the best thing for this team. And the main thing that's causing this division on this team, and this is through my eyes, and I've heard several other fans say it, and people around the program and stuff like that, it's not all on Alex Lomax's shoulders. But when Penny's giving him 27, 28 minutes a game and he's taking time from guys that should be getting playing time, that's going to cause some division. You have a major problem right there. That you have, and then you want to look at these upperclassmen being jealous of these freshmen. It's not these freshmen' fault that they were 5-star recruits coming in, decided to come play at the University of Memphis. They're just as devoted as you are. Now, suck it up. Go out there and play your game. I'm sorry, Lester Quinones
don't you think? Sorry, I was trying to interrupt you.
You go ahead.
I was just saying, don't you think you would be frustrated if you were on the bench and you were just watching the ball over and basically every third time you brought the ball down the court, screw something up and turn it over and give the ball to the other team as another scoring opportunity? I mean, it's not like teams aren't going down and having as many opportunities offensively as we are, but then the third offensive opportunity you have, you end up giving it back to the opponent, which in the majority of the time they just run down and score really quick in a trinity. I mean, you can't expect to keep up with that when you're just handing them the ball. I mean, it's
no, and I agree with that.
It's really frustrating.
I'd be pissed off about that too. It'd be extremely frustrating. But also, I would coach these guys up as an upperclassman and say, "Hey, look, let's go out there, do this way, do it the right way, do it the way that you've been taught, and those mistakes will limit themselves." Like, okay, you look at a guy like Lester Quinones. Lester has struggled all year. He's a shell of what he was last year in the NIT tournament. Play like you did last year, dude. It's not that hard. Go out there, be physical, go after rebounds, take smart shots, move the ball. It's easy fixes, but
yeah, he was the Tony Allen of last year's team.
Yes, and you have so much division in the locker room right now because guys are jealous of each other that it just doesn't make sense. And then it doesn't help that you have a whole fan base mocking your head coach for going to church, asking for prayer for his team. He's absolutely allowed to ask for prayer for his team.
And local Memphis media, and Lester Quinones called him out on Twitter for it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's Christian comedians that joke about prayer and everything like that. But when you're blatantly going out there just to make fun of Penny and you're getting it for clicks and ratings and everything like that, there's a problem. Because people actually listen to those two guys on that one station that I'm not going to name. And people take everything that they say seriously, like us,
because they're damn good at what they do. I mean,
absolutely,
at the end of the day, they're damn good at what they do.
And I'm not going to name drop
any
names.
Blew me away when I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, and I'm not going to name any names. Those two guys are stand-up guys, and they're great people. But they were just trying to do it for clicks and to be funny. But you have a whole fan base who took it seriously and start attacking the players that were mentioned in this little bit that they did. It's stupid, you know. It's so frustrating. It's painful. It's so painful, in the words of Tommy West. But
at the same time, Brandon, when you look at that, I mean, no, I'm not making fun of Brian Kelly, but what about their family? I mean, you know what I'm saying? What about these kids? What about these? I mean, these young men that are here at the University of Memphis that, let's be honest, they could have went somewhere else.
Absolutely, they could have.
Why?
Yeah,
I mean,
but
the fan base is already frustrated. The fan base, Penny's already
They
pissed
don't-
off. I just don't get it. I mean,
Memphis
why
fans don't make it
These
any better
kids
because
don't
we're
care,
so invested into what they want to do.
do what, Will?
The kids don't care anymore. They're brought here under the assumption that they're going to be
In the NBA.
they're going to be basically groomed for the NBA by Penny Hardaway. That's why these kids are coming here. That's why we're getting these great classes, number one recruiting class every single year. Because these kids know they're going to come here, they're going to learn from one of the guys that could have been one of the best players of all time.
Yeah.
Knows obviously the brand name and all of that because he's still line. So I mean, you look at all that as a 17, 18-year-old kid that's being told, "Hey man, come over here, play with us. We can take you to the next level." Well, that's all well and good, but if you can't play with other kids, what's the point of doing it? I mean, you look like as somebody that's just incapable of having with other comparable players. So what's that going to do for you when it comes time for the draft? I mean, these guys, if you look at any of the other top 10, top 15 recruit school this past year, are at other schools, they're all doing really, really well. And then you got two guys that were supposed to be two of the top 5, top 10 recruits coming out of high school this past year. They're on the same team, and they can't seem to pull it together. I just think it's a lot more of like a me kind of thing as opposed to a we kind of thing. And you see it with other teams.
Most
definitely. They're playing
other teams.
me
Even Zaga
basketball
lost to
versus
Alabama the other
basketball.
day. They're a team that tends to play really well together. Yes, exactly. And you got a team like Alabama that goes in there and just blows the doors off that place, which Alabama's going to be a really good team. I'm really I'm not at all looking forward to that game because I have a feeling they're going to make us look really bad unless they can get things turned around in a hurry. It's going to take some doing.
And yeah, part of your problem with making that happen in a hurry is it's not going to happen in a hurry.
Right.
There's nothing to show that it has happened, that it will happen.
It's not.
Luckily, you got a game Friday to get prepared for that. But who's to say they don't go out there Friday and lay an egg against Murray State? They absolutely could. Murray State's sitting at 7-2, I believe, or 7-1. They're going to be fired up.
Yeah,
John Moran's going to be in the building. Murray State's going to bring fans down here.
Yeah.
It's going to be a very tough game for Memphis to win because Murray State is a very scrappy team. They're good.
Yeah, they are.
So
They've been good for years.
I mean, the last time Murray State played Memphis in basketball, they beat them. When Josh Pastner was the head coach here, we had a 31-game home winning streak, and Murray State came in here and stomped us.
Was that not my former next door neighbor, Cameron Payne?
No, it was not.
Okay. Just want to make sure. But I mean, Brandon, when you look at this Ole Miss game, man, we only shot 2 of 11 from 3.
Yeah, they didn't
We only
attempt
shot
any threes. It was weird.
We didn't, but I mean, we only shot 38%. Now, of course, Ole Miss shot 35, but 23 of 37 from the free throw line, 62%. I'll take that.
I won't.
I mean, I really want to see 75% or better. Really 80, to be honest with you.
You want to see
because it's a
at
freaking
least
free
70%.
throw. Yeah, it's a free throw. You shouldn't miss them. I mean, that's just me. Sorry.
Well, they didn't start hitting them until late in the game when you needed to hit them.
Yeah. But here's the thing that really surprised me, Brandon, and this really, to me, tells the story of the whole game. Only 15 assists.
No ball movement.
There's no ball movement,
You don't
no
have a true
extra
ball
pass.
handler on.
You're right. But
It's not
Memphis
sharing
is
the
not
ball.
making the extra pass. Yeah, there is no sharing. It's Kobe ball. Just going to say it. There's no passing. It's Kobe ball. There's no passing, and it's frustrating to see. It's frustrating to watch. It's freaking hard to watch. It really is, man. I mean, when you get down to it,
Oh yeah,
it
is.
I turn it off. I mean, I have to turn it off and step away and come back sometimes. I mean, it's I've done that with the football team a couple times.
I've done that. I've done that at least twice in the last 2 or 3 games where I've had to literally turn it off and walk away or check Twitter to see how, if we've gotten within a few points to maybe go back and start watching and just only get frustrated again to the point that I have to turn it back off. I mean, it's when you watch sometimes 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 offensive possessions result in a turnover.
Mm-hmm.
And that, and not, Penny's talked about people personally attacking him, like Fran Fischella, maybe, I think, in one of those games. But he was talking about one of the commentators coming at him or joking about him as a coach. It's like, well, how do you not expect people to start joking about you or saying things when your team comes down the court and looks completely discombobulated and you're the coach? Like, they look to you. Dude, and granted, like Brandon said a minute ago, he has been taking some of the responsibility on his own shoulders, but at the same time, he's doing that, place blame on everybody else and saying, well, it's my fault. Well, you're not doing anything to change it. You say you want to sell less, you want to have an 8 to 9 man rotation, and you go out and you put 11 to 12 men out there on the court, and some of whom don't need to be out there for 28 or 29 minutes at a time at all.
Some of them don't need to play at all.
I mean, it's or for the game, whatever. Exactly. Yeah. It's just, I don't know. It's disheartening. I think everybody expected Penny to come in and really, and he's I think he's done a job recruiting and bringing people in, obviously bringing a great staff in. They just got to rein these guys figured out sooner than later, or else they're only chance they're going to have at a tournament bid this year is going to be an at-large bid if they don't do something quick, because they're not going to have a quality win to show for themselves when it comes time for nut cutting. So they're going to be sitting there on Selection Sunday, and Penny's bad when they don't get picked for a spot if they don't end up winning an at-large bid, and that's ultimately what it's going to be. We're going to have all these guys that have all this damn talent sitting in a room looking at a TV to see if they're blown off the bubble, and that's what's going to happen. They're not going to make it in. Plenty of some vendetta against Memphis that they don't want us to begin with. Reason. So all this is doing is giving anybody in the country right now a reason to bet against Memphis from here on out. And it's. I mean, you can't be a Memphis fan coming into be going into or what should have been huge opportunity for and it just looks like you're shitting the bed.
Yeah, man, it's frustrating, Will. It really is, man. But I mean, the Tigers got Murray State coming into town Friday night, and as we talked about, that's not an easy basketball game. Murray State's going to fight like hell, as we well know. We're well aware of that. But guys, I mean, it's frustrating. Now, on the other side of things, when it comes to the Lady Tigers, that's not frustrating, fellas. The Lady Tigers right now are sitting at 7-2. Got their next game. They won a game Saturday against Southern 57-50. They are now undefeated in El Marone Fieldhouse. Brandon, when's the last time we could say women's basketball was undefeated in anything?
I have no clue.
It's been years. I can answer that question.
I'm not usually clueless. I'm clueless about this.
But they go on the road on the 14th, which is what next? When is the 14th?
That would be Tuesday, I believe.
Tuesday, yeah, next Tuesday. Sorry, on the road to Towson. Towson's 7-1. I expect the Lady Tigers to get that win. Katrina Merriweather is doing an incredible job, man. And Brandon mentioned her the other day, but the assistant coach, her name slips my mind now.
Abby Jump.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. She is incredible She is an incredible, from what I've read on her, relentless recruiter. Relentless. And I mean, that's what you got to have in this Lady Tigers program for it to not only be good now, but be good in the future.
Abby
Will-
Jones going to be a head coach somewhere one day.
I agree. Will, when you look at this Lady Tigers team, man, and we've been talking about them all year. We here on the point, we cover everything Memphis. When you look at this Lady Tigers program, man, it's fun to watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's quite a few players that I like as far as you just get what they've been doing throughout the season. Jamira Schutz, Lanice Williams, Amani Jefferson. All three of those ladies are really pulling a lot of the weight for the Tigers this year. The only thing it makes me think of, honestly, you guys, you might maybe. There's a movie that back kind of in the, I guess it was mid-90s. Maybe it was in the early 2000s. Want a Man.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And maybe we should, some of these ladies, just kind of dress up and
and suit up for Penny. That would be funny,
Either-
man. That would be really funny.
use
One
for
of
a
them
game,
can dunk, so you might as well
Dude.
throw her out there.
Yeah, this is true.
claim an identity and just come play for the guys because maybe they are. I mean, they are a good team. We lost 2 games, and they've both been away games. One of they probably shouldn't have lost, but then the one against Bama, Bama's got a great women's team. So I mean, I don't know, man. The one thing that disappoints me about it's not even about the team. It's just about us considering how well they're professional. Maybe that'll change. I think a lot of that seems the other with lady sports or women across the country, seems like it's making an impact.
Yeah, I completely agree. One more Memphis team to cover, fellas, and
They're on fire.
they are on freaking fire right now, man. Let's talk about this Memphis Grizzlies team. On the 2nd of December, fellas, just 5 short days ago, the Memphis Grizzlies set a NBA record 152-79 over the Oklahoma Thunder. They're in FedEx Forum. Turned right back around 2 nights later and knocked off the Dallas Mavericks on the road. And last night went on the road down to Miami. If anybody remembers that Will Smith song from back in the day. But the Grizzlies knocked off the Miami Heat 105-90. Brandon, I'll start with you, man. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this Memphis Grizzlies team. Dylan Brooks, 36 minutes, 21 points. Jaren Jackson, 33 minutes, 14 points. The guy that really surprised me, though, Brandon, was Bane. 31 minutes, 21 points, 8 rebounds.
Yeah, I don't think
Batman is worried because Bane is playing some ball right now.
I don't think anybody should be surprised by Desmond Bane. He showed glimpses of this last year.
Mm-hmm.
This year he's doing it pretty consistently. Other than the Thunder game, I believe he didn't even have a whole bunch of points. I think he had like 9 during the game against the Thunder. He's been popping off for 20 plus every few games this year.
He's averaging 16 a game right now.
Yes, yeah, which is crazy, and it's awesome. But I think the main thing was getting Dylan Brooks back and getting him back in rhythm.
Yeah.
Not only is he a defensive menace, but he can add points to your team like that. And your main problem was Ja Morant. All it took was Ja being out for us to be able to go on this run, I mean, Ja Morant, might as well trade him at this point. I'm just kidding. I am absolutely just kidding.
Yeah.
Before anybody says that somebody's going to clip this and say, Brandon Bumgarner said to trade Ja Morant. No, I'm just kidding. But you are 5-0 without Ja, and it is very encouraging to see your team performing the way that they are without your best, by far your best player. What else is encouraging, and I've been asking for it for it feels like years now, is to see some consistency out of Jaren Jackson Jr., and we're finally getting it.
And it's
Guys,
so
I told you
refreshing
all
to
before
see.
the season started. The Grizzlies team was young, but they were hungry. They have playoff experience now, and they're going to pounce on somebody. Right now, they're sitting, I believe, in the 4th spot of the Western Conference. Yes, right there at 4, right behind the Jazz. I'm telling you, when you get into the playoffs, if the Grizzlies are in this playoff picture, which I honestly believe they will be, nobody's going to want to play them in the playoffs. They're nasty. They play hard. They play at the fastest pace in the NBA. They get up and down on you. They're finally figuring it out. And not to mention, this Saturday, you have a big game this weekend. You're retiring the all-time greatest Grizzly. His number's going up into the rafters. That big number 50 is going to be up there. You might as well put his headband up there next to it. This Grizzlies team's going to come out on Saturday against the Rockets. And look, the Rockets are one of the worst teams in the NBA. They might slap the piss out of them. And I know we got a game in between now and then, but
2 games.
man, this Grizzlies team is just so much fun to watch right now. I've watched the last 5 games. They're on fire. That 73-point win was just absurd. Nobody saw that coming. And don't get me wrong, like I know the Thunder are one of the worst teams like out there, but every team has NBA talent. And there's no reason for an NBA team to lose 70 by 73. But somehow the Memphis Grizzlies made it happen. They scored their franchise most points of all time. They're just gelling right now. And right now is the right time to gel. And you keep that consistency going throughout the rest of the year. Guys, I'm telling you, I said it before this year. This Grizzlies team could be dangerous, and they are dangerous right now.
Oh, they're very dangerous. They've won 5 straight. Conference play, they're sitting at 11-5.
Yes, Will. Dangerous. They're very dangerous.
Very dangerous.
They are
2-1 in their division, 6-5 on the road, and 8-5 inside the confines of FedEx Forum. And guys, they're only 6 games back. I mean, that's not very far. I mean, let's just be honest about it.
The Warriors have 4 losses on the season. One of them is to the Memphis Grizzlies. Just let that trickle out there too.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Clippers and the Lakers sitting right behind you. At Clippers are at 13-12, Lakers are 12-12, and then you got Dallas 11-11, and going down. But when you talk about how bad Houston is, man, they are 7-16, and they have won 6 straight games. That is god awful.
Who is this?
Houston.
Yeah, they're horrible.
They are 1-11
Houston
away. 1-11 on the road. I mean, that's god awful, guys. That's terrible. But you got it's terrible. But you got the Grizzlies. They got the Mavericks coming up tomorrow night on the at home, and then they got the Lakers, the Lake Show coming to town on Thursday night. And then Saturday,
believe it's the LeBron-less Lakers too.
It is. Yeah.
You should go in there and get a win.
Yeah, you should. Lakers suck. I mean, I say they suck. I mean, it's the NBA. I mean, they're not playing good basketball right now. I'll put it that
still
way.
the Los Angeles Lakers. They're still going to make the playoffs, and they're still going to make a run.
No, there's no doubt about it. I mean, they're just not playing cohesive ball right now, a la Memphis Tigers. Guys, when you look at the city of Memphis, I know we say it every week. Right now, it's still a fun place to be. Plus, you got the Liberty Bowl matchup between Mississippi State and Texas Tech coming up, so that'll bring a lot of people
cool
to Memphis.
Matchup there.
I agree. I think that's a very cool matchup
for Mississippi State because it's where my family's from. Starkville.
It'll be a fun game.
But you got Mike Leach going up against his former school.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
His former starting quarterback is the interim coach over there at Texas Tech. Should be a lot of fun. I'm going to try to go out there and hopefully cover the game. I feel like it's going to be a great environment.
Give me a ticket. I'll go with you.
Hey, let's do it.
It's in the works. It's in the works, Will.
Mississippi State's going to sell tickets. Texas Tech's going to travel.
I'll go.
It's their first bowl game, and I don't know how long. So it is exciting. Small shout out. I know it's not Memphis, but congratulations to primetime Dion Sanders for making the Celebration Bowl in his first complete year as a head coach. He went 11-1 at Jackson State.
Oh yeah.
I know we have a lot of Jackson State alumni here in Memphis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shout out to him.
Coaching from a wheelchair.
He can be a coach.
Yeah.
He's got his kids down there on his team. He's done a hell of a job with those players, and congratulations to him.
And one more thing, speaking of primetime, man, if anybody ever tells me that man is not a motivator of people, they're nuts. He could be a freaking pastor, man. I'm telling you. He filled that stadium. Did y'all see that scene? It was beautiful to see in Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson State had never done it before, ever.
Beautiful to see, man. It was so beautiful. It was awesome to see that. Big shout out to Prime, man. I love the fact that he is doing it. He's being successful, but he's doing it he's doing it how he wants it done. He's doing it with swag. It's just Prime, man. I just love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, guys, Memphis right now is booming. Memphis is going to have a lot of fun coming up. You got Tiger basketball cranking up right now. A little bit of a downslide right now, but I feel like Penny will get it all worked out. Katrina Merriweather is just doing her thing with the Lady Tigers, man. It's really fun to see. It's really refreshing to see a head coach come in and love the program, love the city that she's in. And then we just got to be talking about it. The Memphis Grizzlies are one of the hottest teams in the NBA right now, 5 straight. I'm going to
go out on a limb and say the hottest team in the NBA.
I would agree with that. But yeah. It's and also check out Dion Sanders' Instagram. If you haven't looked at that, man, it's beautiful to see. Twitter also, Prime is something else on Twitter too. But yeah, guys, when you look at the Memphis, the city of Memphis right now, of course, it's what we cover here on The Point, but it's a lot of fun, man. The city of Memphis is booming. Got some good things going in the city of Memphis. I know there's some dark times for the men's basketball program, but like I said, I really feel like Penny's going to get it all figured out. Not everyone in the room may agree with that. Yeah, I honestly believe he will. But for Will Bass, he's over there. Will Bass, Brandon Baumgartner, I am Wes Pruitt. You have been listening to The Point. Give me about a half hour, guys, and I'll have this up on the website and on Apple, Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, iHeart. We're everywhere. YouTube. Just go to 4star.live.
Just look us up on anything. We're on anything and everything.
We're everywhere here at 4 Star, man. But y'all, thank you very much for watching. Have a good night. We are The Point.